Greetings, O children of the galaxy. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with Eden Zero. Last time, we saw Elsie Crimson, fresh off of murdering her evil mother, God Aknoella. She went in and disabled all of the dragons around Lendar, protecting many lives in the process, and showing justice that no, Elsie Crimson, at the end of the day, makes the hard choices no matter what. While Hermit has discovered something about Ziggy during their first encounter with Elsie Crimson that seems to have clued her into something specific about the true evil that Ziggy, the good Ziggy, Grandpa Ziggy, says has taken control of him and turned him into the evil Ziggy. And while the good Ziggy had come to the surface and had told Shiki to end him then and there, Shiki was unable to bring himself to do so. This caused the evil version of Ziggy to take hold yet again, and because of the way in which Pino had disabled him previously, this Ziggy was taking no chances and seemingly destroyed Pino right there on the spot. Naturally, this enraged Shiki and sent him into a version of overdrive that seemed even more powerful than what we had seen before, as he seems to have blown a hole clear through Zig. Is this it? Has the deed been done? And even if it has, we know there's something deeper and darker out there. Will we find out in this chapter? Who knows? Join me as I find out, won't you? I love this cover. This color spread is absolutely charming and cute. Although I will say, that's the thing about the way Shiki looks. He looks like a punk. He gives off such Natsu vibes, which is just like he's rowdy, he's violent, he'll get into fights left and right, and that is completely not Shiki in the slightest. Although they do sometimes play up on the fact that Shiki just looks like a bit of a punk. I will always say he should have kept the long hair. That really would have helped him stand out a bit. Though this does have me curious because you got Shiki on vocals, you got Pino down there on backing vocals, Happy on the cymbals, Rebecca on the keytar, Wise on the electric guitar. Is Homer playing the flute? Huh. I mean, hey, works for Liza. Jin seems to be playing that bass, slapping the bass. Sister seems to be doing the sound mixing and stuff. Laguna on drums, looking very much like friggin' Gray, just because he's shirtless. And it seems like Hermit and Klein are like backup dancers. I do miss Klein's more svelte body. Don't get me wrong, I love big titties, but her kind of pear-shaped figure was just like, it's different. Alright, we cut to something that we haven't seen in a hot minute. The way we started this series in general, with Ziggy seemingly, training Shiki? Ziggy of the past says, "You're showing a real aptitude for this, Shiki, my boy." Shiki says, as he's beaten and bruised on the ground, shaking, saying, "That's rich coming from the guy who just beat the snot out of me." Ziggy says, "Don't be rude. You said you wanted to train." And then Shiki yells out, "Let's do it again. This time I will land a punch on you, Grandpa." And we see good old Michael just watching all of this, smiling. So adorable. Eden Zero, Chapter 214. As one? Attack as one? Come together as one? Fight as one? Usually specific context this is used for. Alright, we see Shiki in this full-on powered-up overdrive form, seemingly punching a hole through Ziggy. Shiki's eyes filled with rage and malice. Ziggy is blown back. It's hard to tell if he's... That constant grin makes it hard to tell when he's actually, like, feeling the pressure. Okay. Ziggy, despite having a giant smoking hole in his torso, says, "Is that the best you can do, Shiki?" as he prepares an attack. And it's just like, I mean, hole in torso is usually a pretty good job in most situations. Although anime logic, especially if you're a fan of Bleach, you know, a hole in the torso is just like, that's just a minor inconvenience in most situations. But Shiki reels back for a punch of his own. Their two hits connect, causing a massive shockwave. Oof. And the connecting of their two ether gear abilities just destroys the platform that they were on previously. Oop, but they're not done. They're going back at it. It's interesting that Shiki now has like this weird kind of like feather dew going on. If you're a fan of like League of Legends, I don't remember the characters' names, but there are characters who look like how Shiki looks now, with the weird like feather hairdo, and they even have like a scarf, but no, they have feathers. I think they have actual wings or something, but it almost looks like a scarf or something like that. I'm not too familiar with the characters. I'm only familiar with like certain areas of League of Legends, but Shiki's giving off that like weird fantasy character vibe going on. Regardless, they go to clash again as they stand atop the crumbling tower. They leap and bound through the wreckage. Shiki manages to deliver an axe kick to Ziggy's head, sending him plummeting downward. Ooh, but Shiki's not done. He goes racing down towards Ziggy. He tries to deliver a punch, but Ziggy manages to guard it. Shiki goes flipping back into the air. Ooh, and despite being on such a crumbling area, all these rocks just falling, Shiki manages to gain some footing. Ooh, just as the wreckage just hits the ground. Oh, that's gonna look so good animated. Now on the ground, Ziggy says, "If that's all you've got, you'll never destroy me." He then controls the gravity of some of the debris and sends it all rocketing towards Shiki. Shiki immediately uses his own ability to send all of the debris straight down. Controls his gravity and just goes, no. But without missing a beat, in comes Ziggy, ready to clash again. But Shiki, he seems ready for him. Shiki manages to block Ziggy's strike. But Shiki flashes back to his childhood, where very much like how Ziggy trained Shiki, their fight is mirroring that. The Ziggy of the past saying, "Good, next will be a right kick." And Ziggy does just that, which Shiki dodges, just like he did in the past. The Ziggy of the past tells him, "Get ready for a left cross." And when the Ziggy of the past does it, the little Shiki goes flying into the air. The child Shiki says, "I flew." And Grandpa Ziggy says, "No, you didn't fly. You fell towards the sky. That's how you use gravity." And we see present day Shiki up in the air, looking down upon his grandpa, their eyes locking. The memory of Ziggy saying, "Alright, now it's time to show me what you can really do. Hit me with everything you've got." I had a theory last episode. I'm starting to feel that again. Ooh, Shiki conjures up a massive gravity ball that just grows bigger and bigger. Shiki calls out the attack, Black Sky, ready to unleash it on Ziggy. And Shiki says to Ziggy, "Did you think I wouldn't figure it out?" This surprises Ziggy. Shiki says that I'd fall for the same trick twice. Yep, I thought so. He says, "You sent me off into space by making everyone in Grand Bell pretend they'd gone berserk. And now you're acting like you've been taken over again." Shiki, with tears in his eyes, says, "I'm on to you, Grandpa." Ziggy asks, "Then are you going to stop?" Shiki cries out, "No, I'm not." Ziggy smiles and says, "Good. Don't let me lose control again." Shiki powers back up and unleashes the attack as Ziggy tells him, "Destroy me." Gee. Of course, you see a massive explosion. I friggin' knew it. I said that last time. I'm just like, the way Pino disappeared, it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't dramatic enough, okay? Something about it was just like, no. He was trying to rile up Shiki. Shiki was hesitating too much, and Ziggy needed him to act. See the massive crater? Shiki is powered down. The dust and smoke settles and clears. And naturally, like I thought, Pino just pops through a wormhole, and she looks around and says, "I went through a wormhole?" Which means, "Master Ziggy." She sees Shiki standing in the dust and she calls out to him. Shiki doesn't look at her and simply says, "I'm glad you're okay, Pino." Pino doesn't respond. Shiki simply says, "This time, it really is goodbye. Grandpa is really gone. I could never tell him before, so I hope he got the message. Thank you for raising. Thank you for everything, Grandpa." Shiki thinks to himself, jumping through time, becoming a robot, then going back in time and raising me. It's been a strange and unusual fate, but the Shiki standing here now exists outside of the wheel of time. Another version of myself, one that never became Ziggy. Maybe this is Ziggy's thought? And that means even if I die, I won't disappear. We will become become one, Shiki and Ziggy, and I'll leave it all to my other self. I trust you to guide the destiny of this universe and choose the path for the Eden Zero. See Shiki just crying, and Shiki with tears streaming down his face says, I will, Grandpa. I promise. See, I can tend to be a soft person when it comes to stuff like this. Certain situations I'll bawl my eyes out. And maybe if I see this animated with voice acting and music, it'll hit a lot differently. But here, I'm not feeling sad. Maybe it's because I knew that this was probably the way things were going. This was the way that made the most sense to me, honestly. Because Ziggy saw that Shiki was just hesitating too much. Time was of the essence. There was no telling when Ziggy was just going to run rampant and rogue all over again. Something was about to happen, and Ziggy didn't want to take any more chances on that, because he knew he'd just cause more harm and pain. It needed to happen. He needed to give Shiki the incentive. And I actually love the fact that Shiki caught on, but he's just like, no, I have to do this. You know, my grandpa is making a point of pushing me in this direction. I will follow through. And I love the fact that it's just like Shiki also realized, because it's Ziggy telegraphing his play acting, his play fighting. It's all the same move, because this Ziggy is like reliving that moment with Shiki. I'm not sad because it's like, it's just so well written. It just, there you go. It's something that needed to happen. But the question is, what is the real power behind it? What is the ultimate enemy? That'll be the thing to really steer things. Because again, I will say, a lot of the clashes in this final confrontation have had me just really curious what has been going on. Because it was obvious that something turned Ziggy. But what? What was it? What was the thing that caused all of this? And the whole thing of Ziggy being Shiki from the past and so on and so forth, it's just like, no, it doesn't add up whatsoever. And I'm glad that they called that out. It's just like, no, there's no way Ziggy in the past didn't have a Ziggy of his own. Because the question is, where does Shiki come from? This would have been the perfect time to find out, where did Shiki come from? Why does he exist? Who's his mother? Shiki's existence is such a mystery. But this confrontation, the longer it's gone on, it's become more and more clear to me. This is a way of just cutting all the loose ends, getting all the pieces in place for something bigger. Because I said it when we started the whole trip to Lendar, the final battle with Ziggy. It's just like, this feels like it's a conclusion. This feels like we're heading into the final battle. So it's just like, no, that can't be it. And as we're seeing with the revelation that there's something deeper, darker, and more malevolent out there, it's not the finale. Which, of course, the whole goal was to get to Mother. But the question remains, why did Ziggy go down this route? What altered him? Why have a quest to kill Mother? He had said that this was Timeline 1, or just wasn't Timeline 0. But I'm starting to wonder, is that even true? We've had so many misdirect and half-truths that I'm wondering, what's the truth here? Where do we get the truth from? Because with this, so many things have been settled except one loose end. Clown. I'm still wondering, because Clown's still alive. He's aboard the Eden Zero, tied up, and Hermit has been investigating certain things. What were those memories Shiki had before of the shining stars and the dark stars as humans interacting with each other? Being friends? Were those simply alternate universes? But why are there alternate universes where these androids, these robots, were human? That's odd. And the time loop doesn't make any sense. There are massive gaps in it. And the power that Rebecca wields. And we still have yet to have Saint Fire Nox wake up. But this was a good way of just getting the evil Eurasian Says Galactica dealt with, the Eurasian Says Interstellar, all in one place, helping out the people of the Erasure Says Galactica, namely Shiki and Elsie. Everyone has essentially come together. I honestly believe, because there's two openings now in the Erasure Says Interstellar, I'm kind of thinking Shiki and Elsie kind of join them now. Because Shiki and Elsie have helped save the galaxy, you know? And Cure outright admitted that he manipulated the information of Shiki and Elsie being evil and was even behind some other members of the Erasure Says Galactica. So I could easily see Shiki and Elsie being part of the Erasure Says Interstellar, or still just staying, freelance essentially to explore. But this was a way of having every one of them allied together fully and getting the Interstellar Union army off their backs. Or hell, maybe Sapphire Knox wakes up and we found out she was essentially what Cure had become on the good side of things. She was originally a champion of justice or something like that. But I could go on and on with all of my speculation. It's been long enough. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think? What is the burning question you have? And what are some of the things you expect to happen in the future? But also remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications for the next reaction. But until that time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.